So we had a dishwasher that was professionally installed, but it's not quite right. And I want to measure it up for a door because you couldn't measure it up beforehand. Because depending on how the dishwasher is fitted for height and width and things like that would affect what size of door I'd need to order. So as we can see here on the level, the bubble's just to the left, so that left hand side needs to come down a little bit. So this one's quite ingenious. You've got a screw here that takes a torque bit that actually when you spin it to the counterclockwise, it makes the rear pin go down, and when you spin it clockwise it goes up. And for the front foot, you've got something, you just put a screwdriver in and you just turn it one way to make the legs shorter and the other way to make the legs go up. So if I just measure that, it looks like the back actually has to come up a little bit. And now we can turn it and that will raise the back up a little bit. And we'll give this a little bit of space to come down. So another thing that's good to check is that they actually put the steam guard in. So when you have a wraparound cover on here, what you'll often see is you'll see some of the exposed chipboard. And because this machine automatically opens the door at the end of the wash, you want to make sure that the steam's not hitting the chipboard above, and that wasn't fitted. So I had to get them to post that out to me, and what I had to do was to lower the dishwasher down, put that in. There's a bead of silicone that goes all the way along there to stop any steam going inside there. So the other thing you'll notice, if you ever need to take the dishwasher out or adjust it in any way, you'll notice some of these plastic caps, and these just cover these screw holes here. So I'm just going to tighten these back in. So these are a Torx bit. And once you've adjusted these screws, just make sure you put the covers back in, like so. Next thing I want to do is measure up for a door. So I've taken off these expander bits and just left the top one in. So I'm going to go from the top of there to the bottom of the cabinet. So that is 595. And on this side is 593, 594. So we'll split the difference, and that'll be 594 height. And we'll just check what the width is going to be. So if I just put a bit of wood, say maybe about there to about there. So it's about 605, so I think I'll make it about, just be on the safe side, 604. So I think on measuring this again, I think I might better go with 603 wide. So the next thing we need to do is measure up for where the door's going to sit. So what they do is they give you this template. So what you do is you hook that into the door. And we'll just slide them up behind this bit here. And then we just slide that up until it meets this hole here. Do the same on both sides. And then we just mark where that meets the top. Next I want to measure 594. So now we've got the door cut to size. Right, the next thing you have to do is I've put a pencil line on in there instead of the pen mark. So the pencil is just a little bit thinner. So we just align up the top, make sure it's the same distance from side to side here, and then we get some tape. So we'll just tape this on so that it doesn't move. Okay, so that looks centered there, so that's good. So next one, I drill some pilot holes. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in initially, because if I've got this wrong I'll need to move them about, and I don't want to put too many screw holes in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in initially, because if I've got this wrong I'll need to move them about, and I don't want to put too many screw holes in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put 4 screws in. So I'm just going to put And also this isn't the final door, this is just me buying a piece of scrap wood to test out to make sure I get the right dimensions so that when I order the final door that I know that it's going to fit. So the next thing we want to do is we take off these plastic templates and then we want to get these hooks here hooked into the bottom bit of the door there. Okay, so that's him in. So while holding that in like that, all we'll do is start to screw in so these catch the hooks on the back of the door. So that's that one tightened up. So don't tighten these up too much. Just and no more. So this is just a temporary panel until I get the real one on there. And then that's also going to be just temporary until we redo the kitchen. Now if you have a kick panel that goes all the way along there, one thing you need to watch out for is when you open the door that it may hit something that's underneath. So what you want to do is get a piece of card that sticks out where your kick panel is and then just cut off bits. Until you figure out what the ideal height is. So I think that would give me good clearance. So all I need to do is cut the kick panel down to that size and that should all fit in nicely. So next what we want to do is mark off on the kick panel where we want to cut, leaving enough clearance. So there, to about there. And we just want to mark where we want to cut out. And then I'll just cut that out with a jigsaw probably. Okay, so let's see how we did. So the kick panel will go in there like that, and hopefully that should clear. Yay! And actually I might even consider keeping this door on there just now and see whether I want to get one made or not, and I'll just put some of the melamine around the edges to seal them up. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is cover up this edge so that the water doesn't get into it and ruin it. So what we need is some melamine iron-on edging. Next thing you also need is an iron. I can't believe this one cost $8.50, so next to nothing. So let's just turn that one on and we put it to the cotton setting. And we just lay the melamine out on top with a little bit of overlap at the ends. That's good. And a millimetre or two overlap either side. So then you get some greaseproof paper and you should be good to go. So just ensure that's laid out with some overlap. And we just keep on repeating that until the glue is melted. So we'll move it along a bit. And just see if we can get up into the corner here. Okay, that's looking good. It's like that's sticking. Now next we have to trim this down to size So I'm going to do this on the router table, but if you want to use a knife, well, I'm going to use a knife along this bit so that I can put another piece on top of here so that I can do both these bits in the router at the same time. So the other thing that's worth mentioning is that this has got glue underneath, and it's the heat from the iron that melts the glue that allows it to stick to the surface. The other thing that's worth mentioning is to always do your top surfaces last. So that one's going to go over the top of this little bit here, because that's the bit that you're more likely to see than seeing from this direction. And then just make sure that it's all sticking, so you can kind of feel it a little bit and just check that it's not lifting anywhere. So, and then just let that glue cool down. Okay, so I found out that the best way to put this through is to use a block to help keep the kick panel perpendicular to the router blade, and I need to raise this up just a little bit so that it'll So I'm just raising that up so that it will clear the height, because this bit's are a bit raised. So the other thing you can do is you can buy laminate trimmers that have got a blade in it, and they just rest against here, and I'll show you how to use that in a moment. And this is one that I just found online and printed out. So let's see if it works. So that's given a finish that's quite good. So just to fix up the bits where I've done a slight mistake, I've got a Melamine mend pen, so it's just got some white paint in it. And now to fix the kick panel to the panel that's already there, I'm just going to use some command strips. So these are just two pieces of Velcro that you just put together like so. So I'll just place 4 of these on here. So now we just pull off the remaining tape from the other side, and then we'll just press this into place. Okay, so now we'll just push this into place. So slide that in. So I've got some Velcro there, there and there, and 2 bits of Velcro there. So let's see what that's like now. Cool, so we've got a nice bit of clearance from the bottom of that door there. So these are my top tips. First, check the size of the dishwasher that's going to be installed. The one that was going to be installed on mine was 60 centimetres wide. The cavity for mine was 61 centimetres wide. So one of the first things I thought of was, let's make a panel that's 10 millimetres wide, and I'd be able to put that down the side of the dishwasher and that would make it fit. The guys who came to install it on the day decided not to use this panel, and as a result, when they screw into the sides of the dishwasher, that pushes the panel out. So you don't really notice that once you've got the door on and things like that, but that's something to watch out for. So what would I advise? Well, The dishwasher that we got had some rubber sealing strips up and down the side, and they were 5mm wide. That meant that it could kind of cover a 61cm width gap. I think what would be better if you were to have used some either 3, 4 or 5mm strips either side and just glue or screw them on before the dishwasher gets installed. And that would mean that when they're screwing into the side of the dishwashers to hold it in place, then the metal tabs that are at the side there getting pushed by these screws wouldn't also pull the sides away as well. So that would probably be my number one tip. The second tip I'd give is don't get a door cut beforehand, because it all really depends on, are you going to have the dishwasher sitting up high so that the top of the door is just underneath the bunker, or are you going to have it sitting a little bit lower? Other things you also got to consider is, do you want the top of the door aligned with the top of some drawers that are sitting adjacent to the dishwasher, or is it like mine's where it's just 2 doors either side, so the top of it doesn't need to be in line? So the dishwasher we had 4 strips, and they had little sponges in between, and that meant that you can remove some of these. So we removed 3 of these. So that's these strips here, and they have some sponges just inside there, and there's a plastic thread that's running through that, so that when these are on top, if you've got them all screwed up really tight, then that means that they look like that. And if you don't screw it up quite so tight, then these would raise up like that and you don't see through. So that gives you some leeway in adjusting the height that this is going to be, so that you can get it level with any drawers that are adjacent to the dishwasher. And the dishwasher had 4 of these. So I took off 3 of these, and that left the top one remaining. If you're installing that kind of dishwasher yourself, the little adjustment screws that are on the front for adjusting the height of the back legs, I think they only do micro adjustments, just a little bit. So what you'd have to do is, with your dishwasher out, you'd set the height of the back legs to roughly where you need it to be, and then you would just push it back in, and then you can use that screw to turn from the front, and that would raise the dishwasher up and down from the back. Cheerio.